currently find me at the wheel of a 2002 BMW X5 3-litre petrol. I bought this for just £380. Now, I like buying cheap cars like this that no one else wants, giving them a second lease of life. I'm Sam, and this is Broke But Driven. You're probably wondering how a car this cheap actually even drives. Well, it's a bit of a story, but we'll start with the good. It's got just under 124,000 miles. It runs, it drives. I even drove it back from where I bought it from. That's probably about where the good stops. Then we come to the bad. It'd been off the road for about 18 months. It hadn't failed an MOT or anything, it was just sat there, which is suspicious at best. It also didn't have a V5, so I did spend a couple of quid just doing a little car history check just to make sure it hadn't been scrapped or stolen or anything like that. And then we get to the ugly. Let's have a little look around and see exactly what it is I've bought. I think the first issue is pretty obvious. Broken number plate, but not the end of the world. This door is not great. Don't know how well that's coming up, but there's quite a dent on there. It's also missing the lock, so you can't lock it, but then that isn't a huge issue seeing as this window's missing anyway. Around the back all seems pretty good. Not so sure on the tinted lights there. We do have a whole rear number plate. Going down this side all looks okay. Until we get to here, where we have a wheel that doesn't match the rest. But again, easy enough to sort out.
About a missing window and mirror switch.
But after that, not being a mechanic myself, I knew it ran and drove. I knew what was wrong with it externally, but the best I could do was then to take it for an MOT and see what happened.
It's the morning after the night before. Well, it's not. It's actually about a week later and it's night, but stick with me for the metaphor. And what this piece of paper here says is whether we start a long, loving relationship with this £380 BMW X5, or whether it's a very embarrassing trip to the scrapyard. So we always knew it was going to fail, but it was a case of how badly, because we had the broken number plate and we had the odd wheel that seemed to be made from grandma's serving dish. Unbelievably, there's actually only 4 more things stopping this £380 BMW X5 from being a normal functioning member of society. The first one, just this headlight aim, a little bit too high. The adjuster's potentially broken, so might need a new headlight. Cross that bridge when we come to it. All the rest are underneath, so should we have a look? Firstly, we've got this CV boot. Has had it, really. Then we've got this tyre, which, despite looking good initially, is right down to nothing, just on the inner edge. And then last but certainly not least, this bush, which has completely pulled itself apart, but I suppose at least it'll make it easier to get out. And that's it. That's all it needs. A few parts, day or so's work. Shouldn't be too bad at all. And you're going to be fed up of me saying it, but this was £380. Can't believe it. For now, I'm going to go and order some parts, warm up because it's freezing in here, and I'll see you back here soon. So it's a new day. You join me back under the car, and we're going to start with the first problem of this knackered rear bush. And we're starting that purely because I believe you should start with the hardest job, nothing to do with the fact that that's the bit that turned up first. The only problem I was having with the standard bushes is it seems like you need a very special, specific tool to not only take them out but put them back in. And that was not only hard to find but quite expensive. And I didn't really want to take the whole arm off because these joints back here can be a bit of a pain. And then I had a very rare and dangerous brainwave. And so this is my solution. Polybushes. So instead of a one-piece bush that we have to press in, or we use the special tool, they come in two parts that slot together inside the... Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed, not actually looking. Slot together like that, and then once they're in, we just tap this metal pin through. They come with the grease as well, so let's give it a go. So with that plan in action, it should just be a case of undoing this nut here and getting this bolt out from this side, this bolt out of here. We'll loosen this off just to help the whole lot swing down. I think we've got a drop link up here, and I might just loosen the shock off as well, just to give a bit more movement. Visibility is not great in here, so I'll crack on, and I'll see you back when it's a bit freer. Slight sit rep. It's a few hours later. That was a bit of a pain. I ended up taking this off in the end because actually doing it on the car was a bit of a nightmare. I've got this bush out, forgot to film all the process, but essentially the middle of it had already pretty much fallen out. I then burnt out a bit more of the actual rubber, and then there's a metal sleeve that sits just against this, which I managed to cut through with a reciprocating saw, and then get a punch in there and work it round and just hammer it all out. And it is just that bit there is kind of what we're left with. So rinse and repeat here, and then just need to clean up these edges around here, just where it's burred a little bit from the process of getting it out. But yeah, I'll come back to you when I'm ready to put the bushes in. That's that given a nice bit of a clean up. So now it's a fairly simple process. These just come in two parts. We push one in this side, one in that side. Obviously they need a little bit more force, and I've got some grease that goes around them. And then this metal sleeve just pushes through the middle. Nice and easy. And there we have it. One polybushed rear lower control arm. Right, that's that arm back on there. Wasn't too bad, bit of tighter fit because the polybushes protrude the edge of the arm rather than sitting flush like the standard ones do, but we got there in the end. MOT failure number one, ticked off, lovely. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side because we've got the polybushes to do it, and actually they were advised as well, so it'd be quite nice to have one of those ticked off. I won't film that because it'll be really boring just watching me do exactly the same thing over again. I'll see you all down at the front and we'll have a look at that CV boot. Right, next up, front CV boot. A couple of things here. A, I don't know how long that boot's been split for, so I don't really know whether the actual joint's any good. It's not making any noise. The other issue is, I really hate doing them. I think they're a waste of time. By the time you've taken it apart, you may as well I'll show you. Just pop a whole new drive shaft in. So I'll put the drive shaft up, and then the track rod. Next, it was undoing the strut bolts. And giving those a gentle tap out, along with the drive shaft from the hub and the transfer box. And just like that, one drive shaft removed. It was then just a case of sliding the new shaft in, giving it a bit of a push just to seat it. Then with it back in the hub, it was shock bolts back in, obviously along with the track rod as well. Just gave the disc a quick clean down, and then put the caliper back on that I may have forgotten to record taking off. Right, we're all back together. Fairly straightforward, actually. Probably didn't take about an hour with filming and stuff. I'm sure somebody more competent than me could probably do it quicker, but there we go. All I got left to do is find the torque spec for that one, which I imagine is going to be horrifically tight, and then just knock it into the little pins that didn't come undone. And that's that one done as well. So 2 more failures left to go. And just because I know someone will spot it, pad retaining clip back in as well. Next up is this headlight. We thought the adjuster might be broken in it, so I went out and bought this replacement one. However, I think that might have been a little bit of a waste of money. Come in and I'll show you why. This is the new unit, or new to me anyway, and these are the adjusters. So the way they work, you put an Allen key in there, which in turn turns this, or is supposed to. But I realised actually this one just pulls off. And had a quick look at mine. And on the back of there, we've got no wheel. However, this still, with a pair of pliers, still turns. So I think we can probably just get the adjustment on there. I'll try and turn it a little bit to lower it, but I'll get the tester to actually do it because he's got the proper machine there to do it. So a little bit of a waste of money to go and get that, but not all is lost. And that's because the guy was actually breaking the full car, so I picked up a couple more bits. Firstly, that window switch we need, which would be handy. And then also these rear lights, because remember I was a bit unsure about the ones on the back anyway, and then advised on the MOT, because they've got LED bulbs in them, some of them weren't working. So 2 birds, 1 stone. So we'll get these fitted. So you join me now actually in the boot, climb through. So first things first, let's pull this little inspection panel out. It's not really an inspection panel at all, is it? It's a cover. And then in behind here, we can see there's one of them, just those 3 little studs that come through. One down there, and there is another one just down there, and then this connector, which is actually connected to a sort of adapter loom, presumably for the LEDs. We've also got the old 6-disc changer in here, so let's see if there's anything in it. That doesn't do anything because I've got the aftermarket stereo, but no, nothing in there. So yeah, I'll take this out, just a couple of 10 mils. Doesn't actually look like there's enough. Pop that out, then we'll take the light out and get the new one in. I'll come back to you when I'm done. Also, while we're down at this end, this number plate light bulb doesn't work, so we get that changed. Another advisory gone. Next item on the list was a really easy job because I didn't have to do anything. It was actually 2 tyres that failed, but I bought 4, so we got a nice matching set. Got these from Tyre Streets UK, and I used Garage of Luke's 10% discount, which made it quite a nice price. So yeah, let's get these on. That's another thing sorted. God, these things weigh a ton. If anyone's able to give me a single reason why a wheel bolt is better than a stud and nut, I'm listening. Oh, and if any of you were wondering where I suddenly got this matching wheel from, it was in the boot, just with a puncture. I just forgot to tell you. And last, but certainly no means least, I'm sure it's offended a lot of you. Time to get rid of this awful number plate, put a new one on. Just a slight personal preference, I prefer to stick mine on with these little sticky pads. I think it just looks a bit cleaner and saves trying to drill through and messing up the plate. Just got to get it straight now. There we go, all done. I did actually redo that. I put this, instead of sticking the pads to the number plate first, I stuck them on the car first, gave them a good press down, and then heated up the number plate a little bit, just to give it a bit more flex, because there's actually a bit of a curve on that, and then stuck it on, and it seems to be good. I do always think just a new set of plates really brightens up a car, actually. Looks much better. So that's the MOT work all done. I've now got a couple of days until the retest, so I thought I'd address a couple of little things while we've got the time. First up, these rear drop links. I'd split the boots a little bit on the old ones, taking them off, so I thought I'd just put a new pair on. Nice and easy, just 2 nuts, tighten them down, job's done. Next up, the missing window and mirror switch. Doesn't really get any easier than this. We've just got these 3 electrical connectors. And then just a case of sliding it home.
Checking it works. Brilliant. Also, let's see if this mirror moves as well. Perfect. Probably sounds a bit daft, but something like that actually makes a huge difference. Such a tiny thing, but it's just so annoying not being able to crack a window open. Another thing was the passenger wing mirror drops when you pop it into reverse. And without the mirror adjustment, it would keep trying to move and wouldn't move back, which did get quite annoying trying to reverse it on the ramp and everything else. So now, you can't see this, but I promise, it's moved nicely down into the reversing position. And when I pop it back into park, it moves back. Brilliant. I think a lot of you have probably been wondering what the hell I want with a 25-year-old BMW 4x4. I'm very, very fortunate and very grateful to have the use of a workshop, but it is on a farm about 11-12 miles from where I live, absolutely in the middle of nowhere. And with the weather we've all been having of late, actually getting there a couple of times has been nigh on impossible. So I was just looking for something a bit higher up that would, get me out of situations if we had rain or even snow sometimes. So initially was looking for something actually just a bit smaller, Vitara, Jimny, that kind of thing. And then of course the X5 popped up, and it was so cheap I just couldn't really turn it down. It also had another definite bonus over the likes of a Jimny and a Vitara, in that it'll tow. I think that particular model, 3 litre petrol with the earlier 5-speed box, is 2.2 tonnes. So what might I need to tow? Well, you might find that out. Obviously the next question is why get the 3 litre petrol, not the diesel? Two answers to that really. The first one is the petrol was the one that was for sale. That's all there is to it. But there is a longer, slightly cleverer answer, I suppose. A, I'm just a bit happier working on petrol engines if I need to. Diesel sort of scares me. There's a lot going on, a lot of emission stuff, a lot to go wrong. The other thing is, you'd buy the diesel for the extra MPG, but the difference in the cost of petrol and diesel at the moment is such a gap that I think actually the difference in the MPG you get as a return, it probably equates, if that makes sense. Admittedly, it will tow a bit more weight-wise, but not too much more. Also, I'm very lucky in that I live a 30-second walk away from my day job. Points to anyone that can guess what that is as well. So I don't really have any kind of fuel bill during the week, so what I spend high days and holidays doesn't really matter. Yeah, so cars are not my day job, it's just a hobby that's got very much out of control. Also seem to have been quite a few people concerned about how much I'll be paying for road tax. A, it's actually still $430 for the year, which isn't the end of the world. I'm not too sure why the people are so concerned. It's not coming out of your bank, is it? It's coming out of mine. It's not a 20 quid a year one, but it's not a £20 a year road tax kind of car, is it? Good news. It's passed. We've only got 2 advisories. We've got a track rod on the front right, and annoyingly the other number plate bulb decided to give up the ghost just before the test. And I guess this is the moment you've all been waiting for. What's it really cost me? Let's do the sums. Obviously the car cost £380, as we know. Next up, we had to pay for 2 MOT tests because I couldn't quite get the work done quick enough in between, so they came to 105. Parts-wise, the rear polybush kit, that cost me 60. Front drive shaft was 40. And then the headlights, window switch, and tail lights, I know some of those weren't actually failures, but we'll add them in anyway. That was all 150 quid. Tyres came to 265 delivered, which, they're a fair amount of rubber. I'm pretty pleased with that. And then it was another 40 just to have them fitted. So if my maths is right...
It definitely isn't, but go on.
Altogether, that gives us a grand total of £1,020.
It's actually 1,040, but good try.
And to be honest, if you can find me a running, driving one of these for that sort of money, I'd be amazed, let alone one with a pretty clean MOT. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, we've still got things to do. That door's still got that whopping great dent in it. We need to do a sort of 4-wheel alignment on it, purely because I had all of the rear suspension apart and didn't mark any of it up because the bushes were so tired anyway. They wouldn't have been anywhere near where they should have been. For now, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, give me a like, leave me a comment, a subscribe would be amazing. and hopefully I'll see you all again soon when we try and revive the next one.